right, folks in the Derbyverse. My name is Heads Will Roll, joined by
Nomnivore.
And we will be your MCs for this Game 6, last game of Hometown Throwdown 2019.
Pretty excited for this last game here. I think both of these teams are going to close us out very well.
Absolutely. It has been an amazing weekend of Derby. If you have not tuned in and are just tuning in now, we will catch you up on all the weekend's events. This game, however, Denver versus Angel City, potentially a lot on the line, and we'll talk about that a little later. Denver's going to start off with Wilhelm on the jammer line to start this game.
Hollywood Scarlet's jamming Pearl Jam this jam. And there's our whistle, first jam of Game 6. Wilhelm not wasting any time in getting out, picking up lead jammer. Now, Heads, I know that these teams have come and seen each other a couple times in recent past.
They have. The last time they saw each other was actually, though, went in Denver's favor. Last 2 games, head-to-head, last 7 games between them, fairly equally split. We have Denver with 3 wins, Angel City with 4. Denver, of course, looking to even that out.
And I know that this weekend has been a live stats weekend. Do you know where either of these teams is sitting at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Angel City is sitting in 7th. Denver is in 5th.
Okay.
Good. We have an official timeout, so that we can talk a little bit about that and what that means, right? So we know that the top 4 teams do get that bye to champs. Denver kind of sitting on the cusp, and we were running some numbers thanks to the brand new WFTDA stats page, and it looks like in order for Denver to pop into that 4th spot and get that bye, they would need to win this game by 170 points. The last game they played, score sat 261 to 128 in favor of Denver, so about 133 points. Has been a few staffing changes. They added a jammer since then, I think.
Oh gosh, what's her name?
I don't know.
I know. She transferred from a really good team, though.
Right, someone who may have had the Hydra in hand at one point.
Maybe.
Yeah, so Lady Transfull, of course, on Denver now. And so, 170 points, we have seen it happen. Not this weekend, not in this team's histories with each other. The most either team has ever won by is sitting in that 130-point range, but not impossible.
So what you're saying is Denver's really going to want it this game.
They're going to want – it's one of those things. We were talking about this last night and throughout the weekend, right? It's nice to kind of have that bye and go into champs without having to kind of work your way through playoffs. The flip side of that is working your way through playoffs gives you those games in that off season that kind of keeps you hungry and keeps you fresh.
So that official timeout now over, and we've got Scald Eagle facing off against Rachel Rotten. Scald Eagle taking that inside line, juking up the middle, pulling out a lead jammer.
And that Denver defense really holding Rachel back.
Scald Eagle using those long legs to her advantage, just sneaking around that Angel City defense.
All weekend we've seen this Denver defense really stretching out, holding the jammer back as far as possible, waiting for that call, and then that release.
I had a really good question I was going to ask you, Heads, and now that question is gone. It is no longer in my brain. Maybe it'll come back.
We have a lot more Derby. Lining up for Angel City, Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms.
Sounds like another real famous skater.
It was actually a really great post last night by Bonnie Thunders. These 2 are friends, and Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms, who has gone by many names and is a fantastic skater, has asked, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I use this? And the 2 last night had a blast on the track against each other, so it's all good. It's tons of fun.
And I hear that Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms got Bonnie Thunders' full approval and enthusiastic endorsement of using this name this season.
Absolutely. Klein picking up 4 points on that pass.
Angel City has yet to come on the scoreboard. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Early game predictions. How do you think that this game is going to go down? Knowing now that Denver's hungry, that they would really like that bye.
Absolutely. So, if you look at the stats and everyone's predictions, everyone does have Denver eking out a win. However, if you look kind of the previous game histories, Angel City is doing really, really well.
Yes, they are.
In the last 12 months, they have had more wins than losses, double actually. 8 wins, 4 losses. Denver's kind of the flip, 2-6.
Lady Trample getting out for lead jammer for Denver. I think that's 3 in a row for Denver so far in lead jammers. So I think Denver really looking to dominate this first half. But this whole weekend, I've sort of seen Angel City is really picking up their pace after that halftime.
Absolutely. And Angel City has skaters who've come up through their Rockets through their Fresh Meat program, the Rockets program. B-level skaters who are now on the A team. Many skaters who have retired. Many staffing changes. We've seen Rachel Rotten move from a blocker to part of the jammer rotation and just get better and better and better with each, and more comfortable with each single passing game. So Angel City, kind of what we would call a rebuilding year, right? But doesn't look like it when you see the numbers. Everyone on this team is really gelled together.
Pearl Jam having a hard time getting past that pivot line, continuing to come up against those Denver blockers. Yet manages to pull lead jammer. Oh, and a penalty.
We do have a high block on Pearl Jam.
That's going to leave Andy as lead jammer and in a power jam. Denver trying to hold on to that goat at the back of the pack, allowing Andy to push on through. Andy picking up some offense from her teammates, picking up another 4 points.
Denver losing another blocker to the box.
Pearl Jam stashing that star, but ultimately getting through, putting it back on right as Andy calls that jam. Angel City again held scoreless this jam. So currently sitting with a lead of 31 points for Denver.
We talked about them being ranked number 5 and number 7 in the world. When you break that down to North America West, right, you're looking number 3 and number 4. So this was probably one of the closest matches of this weekend. We did see Denver play Rose on Friday, and it was a very, very similar score to what we saw at Big O.
Rachel Rotten plowing through the pack, picking up lead jammer for the first time for Angel City, hoping to put some points up on the board this jam. And easily putting up 4. Denver pivot Akers now back on the track. Looks like it was a pivot do-si-do as Angel City's pivot now sitting in the block. Big swing over there by Rachel Rotten.
Rachel kind of looking for that penalty and got it.
Rachel Rotten still in lead jammer here. Picked up 8 points so far. Going ahead and calling it and putting up an additional 3. Angel City now on the board with 11 points. So, Heads, I know you've heard about that other really big thing that's coming up here pretty soon. Just a few months, really? turns out that would be the 2019 International WFTDA Playoffs and Championships, and those tickets are on sale now with discount codes that are available. Get your tickets and codes today at WFTDA.com/tickets.
Absolutely, and champs, right? There's 3,000 tickets being sold. Following on Twitter, and I just saw the 800 tickets sold. So do not wait. Get your tickets. You'll want to be there. It is going to be a blast.
Yeah, and championships are going to be taking place in Montreal, but we do have multiple other playoffs happening in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Seattle, Washington. I know there's, maybe that's it. And then Montreal.
And then we have the Continental Cups coming up. We have Utah, correct?
Orem, Utah, and then North America East is going to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then the Europe Cup for WFTDA is going to be taking place in Helsinki, Finland, October 5th and 6th.
While we were talking about that, Tracy Akers took a trip to the penalty box. Denver down their pivot on this jam. Although Scald Eagle doesn't need it. Doesn't need a pivot.
Rarely does. Angel City really starting to kick it into high gear, wanting to close that that early gap that appeared between the two teams, now sitting at 31 points to 19. So picking up 19 points over the past two jams.
And this is consistent with how they've played throughout the weekend. It's taken a few jams to kind of get that groove, kind of learn the opponent, get warmed up, and then they just come in and chip away at that lead. And we saw it last night. We saw it on Friday as well.
So Lady Trample and Darby Dagger both wearing the stars. Lady Trample out before I can even finish my sentence. Picking up lead jammer for Denver.
That's how we time things in announcer land. It's by how many words you got out before their lead, not seconds. And we did have a star pass on Angel City. Crackerjack is the jammer of record.
Crackerjack was a lot of fun to watch on Friday. Really a very dynamic jammer. And Angel City, what I noticed last Friday is that Angel City passing their star a lot, showing no real, when they can't get through, they're not just going to hold onto the star just for pride's sake, that they will pass it in the aim of getting their jammer through, which is, for them, it's working pretty well.
And we're starting to see this, right? So you have teams like Angel City, you have teams like Rose, you have teams who have been around for a very long time. Klein picking up lead as we were talking about this.
I think that was about a 7-word.
7 words, yeah. So these older leagues have been around since almost the beginning, if not the beginning, and a high block sending Pearl Jam to the box.
And a direction of play sending Polly Punchkin to the box right afterwards.
So as we were saying, you have these teams who have just adjusted, and the way they've managed to stay at the top of the rankings is adjusting to the ever-changing rules of Derby and game flow. And so we're seeing a lot of these high-level teams with fantastic, super athletic jammers being just gracious and passing that star, not being selfish, knowing that, hey, I pass it, we're cutting down on the amount of points the other team is scoring, and really, really showing how it's done.
Klein not quite making it through on that outside line, recycling herself back to avoid that cut track penalty, finding it very easily on the inside line, picking up another 4 points for Denver. Pearl Jam now back on the track with a star stash, it appears.
We have a Denver blocker to the box on a forearm penalty.
.20 jam so far for Klein. In these games that I've seen this weekend, 20 points is a really decent jam. Most of the jams have been kept to lower points, sometimes as low as the 1 and 2 points, just sort of getting through, picking up those couple of points. That has been pretty rare to see the bigger jams.
Yeah, Denver has been the owner of many of those bigger jams this weekend. Like you said, not many, but Denver really getting out there, finding the holes and getting those points.
Pearl Jam with a late penalty sending her to the penalty box, allowing Denver to start in a power jam. I anticipated a timeout or possibly even an official review being called after that last play.
Yeah, absolutely. Angel City gonna take a few moments to discuss, regroup.
But right now is the perfect time to tell you about Union Wine Company. Underwood wines, delicious wine in a convenient can. Grab one at a store near you.
Yeah, Union Wine was here this weekend, and proceeds from their sales were going to Planned Parenthood. So thank you, Union Wine.
Oh, thank you very much, Union Wine. That's a great thing to give your proceeds to. Oh, the other thing about championships is that the pack is here. Get a 4-pack of 3-day tickets to either of the playoff locations for only $175. That's a whopping $85 off the regular price. So get your tickets now to the best events in roller derby at wftda.com/tickets.
Scald Eagle on the line for Denver on this power start.
Scald Eagle's one of those jammers who's probably really going to take advantage of the fact that they're starting in a power jam.
Absolutely.
And there it is. Scald Eagle confidently making her way through the pack, picking up lead jammer. Picking up some offense from Barrett to get her through again, picking up 4 points for Denver.
That big hit by Lowe right there almost had Scald out.
Pearl Jam is standing in the box. Pearl Jam re-entering gameplay. And finding her way through nicely with a little bit of a star stash.
And Lowe heading to the box on a direction. Also have a Denver blocker in the box for the start of this jam.
Both teams equally disadvantaged.
A little more room on the track for the jammers.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Look at the bright
Less
side.
bodies to move around. Oh, Lady Trample wearing the star for Denver.
We have Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms for Angel City.
I think I'm going to giggle every time we say Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms.
It brings me such joy.
It does.
So thank you.
Does. Lady Trample out, picking up lead jammer. Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms with a star stash, possibly a star pass happening for Angel City. And there it is, completed star pass to number 88.
Lady Trample picking up 4 points, of course, on that pass.
Number 88, of course, being Tui Lion.
And this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Passing that star, holding it to one additional pass.
I'd like to say thank you to all of our fans who are watching right now on our Twitch channel. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, listening to us, joining us virtually for this final game of Hometown Throwdown 2019.
Frantically double screening between this and ECDX this weekend.
Sure.
Darby Dagger with the star for Angel.
Andy wearing for Denver. Andy up against all 4 Angel City blockers right now. Angel City, yep, holding the pack at the back, forcing Denver to let Darby Dagger go and pick up lead jammer.
And it looks like Barrett with an illegal contact heading to the box.
Quick recycle back by Leah on Darby Dagger. Darby Dagger looking for some help from her friend Lowe.
And Polly Punchkin heading to the box on a multiplayer.
There's the call off.
And a after the whistle penalty assessed on Lowe Betancourt with a back block. So Angel will be disadvantaged. But you have Soledad and Tui Lion going out there, so
Is that really a disadvantage?
it is absolutely not.
I feel like everything's equal. That adding those 2 blockers back in would tip the scales in Angel City's favor for sure.
Wilhelm, Rachel Rotten, jamming.
Wilhelm trying to get around those 2 Angel City blockers.
and very, very different jammer styles. We see Rachel just kind of pushing her way down the middle. Wilhelm with those little sneak moves trying to find an opening.
That was Garten that just recycled Rachel Rotten back. Wilhelm out picking up lead jammer. Angel City buying enough time on the track to get both of their blockers out, so now we do have a full 5-on-5 complement. Wilhelm squeaking through at the very end there to pick up another 4 points. 13 and a half minutes left in this period, and we've got a score of 83 Denver to 21 Angel City.
And that Bud Light penalty box will be empty at the start of this jam. We've not seen that for a bit.
I love an empty Bud Light penalty box, truly. Scald Eagle just mashing her way through the pack to the top of the apex, coming out as lead jammer. Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms fighting at the back of the pack. Again with a star stash,
and I
maybe.
love that little look over her shoulder towards the refs, like, you gonna call that? Thank you, appreciate it.
And that is Watson Cirabo sitting, taking a break over there in that penalty box. Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms through on her initial.
Instruction call. Filling up the blocker side of that penalty box.
Goodness gracious. 2 Denver blockers, 1 Angel City blocker, filling up that penalty box. The number that Denver needed to win by to get 4th is 133 points?
170.
170 points is how much they needed, or they need to win by to get 4th and to get that bye into championships. Darby Dagger wearing the star for Angel City this jam, getting out lead jammer, followed about half a track behind by Klein. Just kidding, that's Akers. There was a star pass.
You know it's good when we have to try to figure out who's...
What's happening?
Hey.
Darby Dagger looking at her bench coach, going ahead and calling it off.
Making sure her blocker was out before that call off. Heads up, derby move. Rachel Rotten versus Lady Trample.
Well, that's a fun pair up.
I'm really excited about this.
I know you haven't. I mean, our audience can't see it, but you have had a smile on your face this entire game.
I officiated all weekend, and these are some of my, it's fun to put on a microphone and just geek out with the stats and watch some great derby.
So Rachel Rotten did get lead jammer, but Lady Trample is in front. We see one of my favorite things, which is a little jammer on jammer, offense, defense. Lady Trample knocking Rachel Rotten out.
Rachel Rotten looking like, can I get a forearm? Ref's going, not today. Nope.
Rachel Rotten still lead jammer, but Trample now picking up points where Rachel Rotten has not yet picked up points on this jam.
And Barrett heading to the box will be spending a full minute there picking up an in-sub after that illegal contact.
That Angel City defense really locking down on Trample that lap, but it was not enough. Lady Trample picking up another quick 4 points. Rachel Rotten now choosing to call the jam off.
All right, 98-33 in favor of Denver. Wilhelm and Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorm on the line.
So that's about a 3-to-1 point spread right now.
And Bonnie Nicole with those toe stop turnaround lead jammer.
Wilhelm still struggling to get through. Jammer star is off for Wilhelm. Wilhelm with a big drawback by Angel City. Angel City looking for that cut track.
Tui getting it called on pack destruction.
That's what happens when you draw that jammer back just a little too far. Star pass on Denver to Blackman. Blackman with a big hit on Crackerjack there at the apex. Spinning around, getting through, picking up 4 more points for Denver.
That is definitely one of Denver's advantages. All of those pivots, all of the pivots on Denver, you put the star on their helmet, and you would just think they were in the normal jammer rotation, right?
Exactly.
So at any given time, you have a double threat on the track. And Akers heading off the track on a direction call.
I believe that probably was a stop block. Huh? Maybe? I don't know.
Same hand signal.
Exactly. I was watching the fact that nobody was moving and the refs were down super low watching. So it is my best educated guess that that was a stop block. Everybody really bunched up on the pivot line this jam. And there's the move backwards. Darby Dagger with a quick lead jam award.
Well, everyone was sliding back. Darby's like, I'm just going to
slide forward. And it happened again. Darby Dagger really capitalizing on sort of that confusion in the pack, the discohesion, uncohesion.
Those brief moments of everyone getting together, right? Like that's
right, but no actual structure. I guess unstructuredness of that pack. Blackman through on her initial after using a star stash.
Lots of bodies on the track.
Yep. Darby Dagger fighting up against Leah at the front of the pack and Wierzbinski. Wierzbinski. I keep forgetting to add that additional Z in that name. Again, that is Leah Wierzbinski and Watson Cirabo making life really hard for Darby Dagger. Darby Dagger letting this jam run the full 2 minutes to try and make up some of those points between the two teams. Blackman having an incredibly tough time.
Finding a little tiny glimmer of hope on that inside line and getting through. Angel City picking up 20 points. Hard fought points.
Hard fought points. But narrowing it to a 2-to-1 point spread from that 3-to-1 point spread earlier in the game. So Denver sitting at 112 points with the Scarlets sitting at 61. Scarlets having used one of their timeouts. Denver still with a full hand of 3 timeouts, both teams with their official reviews.
And with just under 5 minutes left in the half, we have Scald Eagle up against Rachel Rotten. Scald Eagle making quick work of the pack is your lead jammer.
Rachel Rotten less than a quarter track behind. Scald Eagle entering and calling off as Rachel Rotten was on her heels. Picking up 1 point in the process, but more importantly holding LA scoreless on that jam.
We have Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms back on the line going up against Lady Trample. Some pre-whistle jostling.
Oh. I don't know what happened there, but multiplayer block making a big bounce there to the outside.
Lady Trample with that spin move creating enough energy and force to shoot multiplayer block
out
off the track.
I also heard that earlier this season on Angel City that a lot of the team did have penalty names, multiplayer block, low block, but that changed after the Big O, I think, as the announcers and the officials would not use those names as the official names for that game. So now everybody's back to their normal names except for multiplayer block. Multiplayer decided to go ahead and keep that for the remainder of the season.
As funny as I find it, it's kind of like when there's those vanity license plates that's like, you can't catch me, you're speeding, and then you get pulled over, and you're just like, what?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Multiplayer block being like, why did I get called on a multiplayer?
Right.
It's in the name.
Okay, timeout being called for Denver, so going ahead and using one of those timeouts. With about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Oh, just kidding. It's going to change into an official review for Denver. I have my finger on the official review thingy here. So everybody who is watching will be able to hear our official review as I pull the sound up on it.
All right, I do want to go ahead and take this moment to thank the officials for this game and for all of Hometown Throwdown. Officials working this game going to be Amy Farrell-Fowler, Queen of Catitude, Zoonotic, Melotrauma, Tumbletina, Wizard of Laws, 9-Inch Wheels, Tenacious D-Cup, Read the Rules, Bola Constrictor, and Flourish and Blocks as your NSOs. Your refs, MC Ninja, Kieran Duncan, Darth Bling, Don Scorleone, All In Your Grill, Doesn't Matter, Umpire Strikes Back, and Kabong. And they were actually just using that official review as a timeout with about 2:40 left. Might as well take it.
So while we have a couple more seconds, I'd like to say thank you to Bud Light. Grab one today. Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly.
So again, everybody bunching up on that pivot line. Both jammers getting a nice running start. That only seems to benefit Scald Eagle.
Yeah, Scald with that really quick stride and that kind of swinging from side to side. You do not want a quick start.
No, although Psycho did make life a little hard for Scald there at the top of the pack.
We have Leah heading to the box on a low block penalty. And joined by the Angel City pivot, that is Tui Lyons. And we also have another Denver penalty. So light pack out there on the track. Both jammers looking to monopolize on that. And as we just saw, Darby Dagger getting through fairly effortlessly, picking up 4 points on that pass.
It is a little easier to pick up points when there's only 2 blockers to contend with.
Scald also picking up 4. A little more flair. Little hop spin.
I know, it's very nice. So I don't know if you knew, Heads, but Ninkasi is RCR's new craft beer partner. So go ahead and grab some at a store near you.
We do thank them for joining us as our sponsor here at Rose. Official review. Charmer in the middle of the track looks like potentially does have some questions. Concerns.
I had a teacher in middle school that used to always say questions, concerns, moans, groans, gripes, complaints. Like that was just sort of their phrase.
I think every teacher kind of has a play on that, right? I think I had one that was like questions, concerns, difficulties.
Yeah.
All right. And this will actually be used as an official review.
Okay. Well, I have my finger on the button again so we can slide it up so our fans can also hear what's happening with this official review. review. But again, given a moment, I'd like to say thanks to Two Town Cider, damn fine cider made here in the Pacific Northwest. If you haven't had a chance to check out their summer blend, it is amazing. It is a clementine cider. You might not think that sounds really good, but it is excellently refreshing.
I have been right now. I think I have their Easy Peasy. Which is
lemon
their,
squeezy.
Yeah, easy
Yep.
peasy lemons. Yeah, it's their raspberry lemonade-ish cider, which is
so good.
amazing.
Tart, not too sweet, great by the pool.
The Pacific Northwest folks love our ciders.
We make really good apples up here.
We do. And Two Towns actually a fantastic supporter of sports. The female sports leagues here in...
That's right.
Yeah, the women's sports leagues here in the Pacific Northwest. They sponsor the Portland Thorns.
The Thorns, again with their cider Two Thorns.
Two Thorns, right? I really like what... I wonder what
So
flavor
good.
they would do for Woj. It would be like a grape and... like, this is what we need to find out. We need Two Towns
yes,
to
Two
do...
Towns needs to answer.
A Rose City Rollers flavor.
Although with Rose City, I mean, you could do a Rose Hips one, but that's awfully similar to the Two Thorns.
See, folks, this is what happens when there's official reviews in the minds of officials and announcers. We start thinking about what sponsors are going to do.
Maybe encourage them to do some other things.
Speaking of encouragement, Rachel Rotten over in the penalty box. Just kind of, talking some strategy or checking to see where everyone's going after the game. Who knows? Never know. But I'm assuming it is probably some, hey, this is what we're going to do once this whistle gets this jam underway.
I keep looking for a microphone down there, seeing what's going to happen. Nobody seems to be... Maybe somebody's going to go for a microphone now.
There we go.
There it is.
I will not be charged in Angel City in official review because I was trying to explain the pack penalties, and the pack penalty that they would like me to overturn or explain was explained. So I will be using this as an official timeout and not an official review, Angel City.
There you go. Angel City is going to retain their official review since they just needed an explanation of the pack penalty by that head ref.
And I always appreciate when officials realize there was a communication error or even an error in a call, and they want to get together and talk about it and really get it right, and being able to come forward and be like, you know what, this was us. We're not going to penalize you. So really great officials crew this weekend, and we thank them for all their hard work.
Klein getting out, picking up lead jammer Rachel Rotten pretty close behind. Klein looking to follow Verbinski through the pack there. Did and picked up 4 points. So one of our other awesome sponsors is WSL Leadership Coaching, helping you be more awesome in your work, sport, and life.
And once again, we'll have Lady Trample on the line with Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorm.
And Lady Trample on the line. Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms. I do appreciate Bonnie Nicole pointing to the left, running to the right.
There's a forearm call being assessed on Soledad. Crackerjack now wearing the star for the Scarlets.
And we have Barrett heading back to the box on a forearm. Picked it up right there at the end of the jam. And Charmer using, calling for an official review as a timeout. So that official review that they were granted back, going to use that to ensure another jam.
Well, then it's a great time to tell you about Killer Burger. Burgers, beer, and bottomless fries. Killer Burger. They have me with the bottomless fries because not only are they bottomless, but they're delicious.
They are delicious. They have a burger that has peanut butter on it.
I'm not a fan.
Really?
I can't do the peanut butter on burgers. It's just weird.
They have so many good burgers. I'm working my way through the list. I do that thing where I order the same burger like 10 times in a row, and I'm like, next time I'll try the peanut butter one. But
And isn't it a peanut butter pickle
peanut
burger?
butter and pickle.
I should try it to be adventurous, but I just don't. I don't want to be adventurous. I like my comfortable bacon cheeseburgers. Maybe throw some ham and egg on there.
There you go.
How good would it be with a breakfast burger and add hash browns, though?
Huh.
Or are you not a fan of that? Again, Killer Burger. We're giving you some ideas here.
Rachel Rotten back on the line. We have Klein back out there for Denver.
There is our whistle. We are going to run out our period clock here in about 2 seconds. Only on the jam clock. Klein getting out, lead jammer.
And we have a multiplayer block being assessed to Leah.
Klein on her scoring pass. Rachel Rotten, I think, just on initial?
That is confirmed. Go over to Darth Bling to make sure he's doing his little, his little arm
thing.
swoop.
And here we are at intermission. I was going to say admission. Teams both looking strong in their own right. Denver sitting at 149 points. Scarlet sitting at 65 points.
And we'll get some penalty counts for you all at the beginning of the half. But yeah, that 150, 65. Angel City not wanting to give 170 points up this game.
Sure, but we do have a whole nother half that we are going to be able to watch and report on. And again, it is that 170 points that Denver needs in order to get that bye into champs and bypass that first round of games.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams, though, looking really, really good, ready for playoffs. You drop them in right now, and I think we'd see some amazing, amazing games. So we are going to let you get a snack, flip over to another feed of our friends over in Pennsylvania, the East Coast folks at ECDX. Update us with scores. We want to know what's going on, too. And we will see you in just a few moments.
Okay, thank you so much. See you in a few minutes.
Look at that. We just got the okay.
There we are.
We're staring at ourselves. Yay. 17 penalties each. And we are really looking forward to the second half. It is kind of within the predictions, right? We're seeing that right now, if this continues to go as it is going, both teams staying where they are, 5th and 7th in the world, and then heading into playoffs either in North Carolina or, of course, Seattle. So we will see.
Yeah, so again, Denver needing that 170 points in order to advance forward. And looking at those live stats that WFTDA has been so wonderful with this weekend, Arch Rivals actually sitting in that 4th spot place, or 4th place. So if Denver can pull out a 170-plus point win, they will be upsetting Arch Rival and taking that 4th spot bye.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did talk about that, whether or not you want that bye, whether or not you want to go to playoffs, run through it. You'd definitely be sitting at kind of, if you're number 5, you're sitting the top seed in playoffs and kind of getting that experience and that gameplay, keeping your legs fresh and keeping strategy going and all that good stuff. We do know that a lot of teams that, now that this bye system has been implemented, try to pick up at least a game or two. If just to maintain focus
between here and October, November champs.
Right.
Yeah.
Heading into Montreal. Want to be
might be a little chilly up there. Maybe.
I am looking forward to it.
Or am I just stereotyping Canada?
I don't know. I do not want to upset our Canadian friends, but if they know what
if
there's
anybody out there on the Twitch stream who knows what it's going to be like in Montreal, Quebec during champs, please let us know, because I think it's cold. But that might just be me.
Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorm is your lead jammer. Skulled Eagle heading to the box.
I believe that is Scald's first penalty of the game.
And it was an illegal contact penalty.
That seems like a large umbrella. Illegal contact. So Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms picking up 4 points for Angel City. Ooh, some big offense out there from Cracker Jack.
Trying to open up a hole. Denver, however, just.
Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms with a matrixy move, trying to stay inbounds on those toe stops, unable to keep it. Scald Eagle back in the pack and through.
And you did see that assist from Leah just kind of plowing through the crowd. Scald Eagle right behind, getting out, getting through.
Scald Eagle now picking up 4 points for Denver. So right now this is a sort of null jam with both teams picking up those 4 points.
Yeah, that Denver defense out there really making sure that power jam did not affect them whatsoever.
Doing exactly what they needed to do, holding Angel City, holding them down until Eagle was able to rejoin the game.
And we have a direction call on Leah heading to the box.
Eagle holding hands with her teammate, trying to keep her. That was Wierzbinski, keeping her in bounds.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Bonnie Nicole being escorted to the inside by that Denver defense. There's the end of that jam. So again, I was going to say it was a null jam, but it's not. Scarlet's picking up an additional 4 points, making a little bit more headway into that score gap. So now sitting at 158-77.
And Charmer heading in to talk to the head ref.
So that is a timeout. And timeouts are a great time to talk about Oaks Amusement Park, home of the Rose City Rollers and the place to purchase your Derby gear.
For our folks out there on Twitch, if you're ever in Portland, check it out.
Another thing that you'd want to pick up when you were here in Portland is some secret Aardvark hot sauce. One of my favorite hot sauces. It's a local made flavor that really kicks you in the mouth.
Yeah, Portland has great weather, but we also have even better food, I think.
It is a food paradise. There are very few neighborhoods. Well, if you stay out here by the hangar, which is close to Selwood, Selwood has amazing food on virtually every corner and street.
And we're lucky to have many of those food establishments as sponsors, so we thank them. We talked about the Killer Burger,
Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, Jam on Hawthorne, Laurelhurst Theater and Pub. But also we've got Red Bull, we've got Fran's Bakery, which are both big sponsors of roller derby here at Rose City Rollers, and our other big favorite, Kay's Bar. Everybody's favorite place after morning practices.
Derby Nachos.
Derby Nachos are the best. That official timeout is wrapping up. Everybody, again, bunched up down there on that pivot line. Denver trying to cause chaos in that pack, allowing Klein to get through. Again, that was it seems like that was a tactic that they employed in their B-team game earlier in this weekend, was that confusion, that breakup at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Klein is lead jammer. Klein calls it off.
And did not catch the penalty, but Akers sitting in the penalty box. And the pivot for Angel City, both of them looking at each other like, I didn't do anything. Did you do anything? Nope.
Another one of our big sponsors is Rendered Printing. If you were watching a game on Friday, Rendered Printing was the one who printed all the purple fan shirts for those first 40 fans that came through. Beautiful print job. Highly encourage them.
And I absolutely love Lady Trample reaching over and giving Rachel Rotten just a kiss on the cheek, like, hi, friend. Okay, I'm about to destroy you on the track.
Now down to business. Lady Trample picking up lead jammer. I think Lady Trample's on 100% in terms of lead jammer.
I believe you are correct. is one of the things I love about Derby. Everyone's friends until that whistle. And then we're friends again. You get the call-off whistle and everyone's friends again.
Big smiles, high fives. As you skate off the track. Scald Eagle wearing the star for Denver this go around. Somebody just asked, where's Pearl Jam? And Pearl Jam is now on the track wearing the star for Angel City. So this is a Pearl Jam Scald Eagle face-off.
That's one of those ask and you shall receive out there in the
Twitch land.
In the Twitch land.
On the interwebs. So Pearl Jam being recycled by Denver.
And Pearl Jam was sitting on 3 penalties in the first half. So we can speculate, maybe give her a little bit of time, not put her out right away. However, we have seen in the past Pearl Jam pick up several penalties and then skate clean the entire rest of the game.
So that was beautiful. I actually thought Eagle was going to go for one of those signature apex jumps, but she didn't. She chose instead to just juke through the middle, picking up 4 points.
Angel City blockers waiting for that jump. A little surprised.
Another wonderful thing that we have here in Portland is Voodoo Donuts. Don't know if you've ever had them.
I have, and they are a wonderful sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and the Wheels of Justice. Live this weekend, if you were here for Hometown Throwdown, you would have had a donut that looks like the skull, the Woj skull.
The Woj skull. They were amazing. I broke my gluten-freeness just to have one. And again, down on the track, we've got Andy and Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms wearing the respective stars. Andy getting lead, but also getting bumped to the inside, avoiding that cut track or possible cut track by going ahead and recycling herself. So now, unfortunately, having to fight through all 4 Angel City blockers again without even picking up any points for it. Oh, just a big crush of bodies there in turn 2. Multiplayer block being called on the Angel City pivot just as a star pass was completed.
So we are getting some confirmation. Crackerjack will be sitting as the pivot. The penalty occurred before the star pass, and therefore it will not be a power jam. Crackerjack sitting as the pivot. Darby Dagger on the line for Angel City.
That is a very good distinction to make, since the star pass was not complete with the star on the head of the pivot. Then the pivot sits as the pivot, not as the jammer.
There was not a complete star pass, so yes, therefore we do have
Klein picking up some help from Copper Top Crush, helping to get her through.
We have a full house in the box for Angel City. Darby Dagger heading to the box. I do feel like that was an announcer's curse, so I do apologize to Darby for saying.
For making a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
And for, actually, I just apologize to all the Scarlets for that.
Klein picking up another 4 points, making it a 12-point jam so far, with no indications that she'll be stopping anytime soon. And that was Garten messing things up in that Angel City tripod, allowing Klein to get through again. So a 16-point jam for Denver, lengthening this lead to 190 over 77. So at this point, we almost have that 170-point lead, right? Maybe not quite. I think we have about 143 or 43 points left to go. My math, not great. We're at 113 points between the two teams. We need 170. So that's 57 points.
And Lady Trample is on the line with number 54. So, you know.
It might happen. 57 points might happen right now. Angel City with a star stash. Pearl Jam getting through, putting that jammer cap back on.
Yeah, that pack very spread out from both teams and just taking advantage of those little holes in the pack to get through.
I'd like to say thank you to the Portland Mercury, Shebop, and My Optic Optometry while we have a moment.
Denver with 2 in the box.
One of those being the pivot.
Rachel Rotten on the line up against Klein.
I don't feel like Klein needs a pivot very often. They should be fine. Klein working in favor of Angel City's own sort of mashup there at turn 1, getting out and picking up lead jammer. Although Rachel Rotten right on her heels. Picking up a couple points, I think. 2. I was correct.
Yeah, and we've seen this with Angel City throughout this game, throughout this weekend. Either passing the star or getting out just quickly behind the opposing jammer, and just the strides of these skaters.
Right.
Yeah, they waste no time getting up there and forcing a call off quickly.
Eagle and Darby Dagger. Clockwise block being called on Wierzbinski.
And Tui Lion just taking Scald Eagle to either side of the track.
Eagle actually having to use a star stash to get through. Darby Dagger in the meantime picking up lead jammer. Looks like an illegal contact call being called at the last minute there on Soledad. Will send Soledad to the penalty box for the beginning of this next jam.
And we do have a little discussion going on over here by the refs. Some big contact here in the corner. Wilhelm, Nicole, Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms.
Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms. Wilhelm being let go, picking up lead jammer. Polly Punchkin was working at the top of the pack there, holding back Wilhelm. And we have a star pass on Angel City to Whiskey Von Sweets. First time Whiskey is wearing that jammer star, having a little bit of problems putting it on.
Or attempting to.
Big smile on her face, though. It's still only about halfway on, Whiskey.
Imagine Whiskey going, guys, you gave me the extra small one. It doesn't fit my helmet.
Penalty box is cleared for this jam, so we do have a full 5-on-5.
And Lady Trample up against Pearl Jam. Smiling as they jockey for position.
Pearl Jam getting through for Angel City. Lady Trample looking for some help. Getting a little assist from Wierzbinski there. Wierzbinski now causing problems for Pearl Jam.
Soledad back to the box.
Many whistles down there. Oh, because Lady Trample got a penalty. So Pearl Jam now lead jammer in a power jam. Did we happen to see what Lady Trample's penalty was?
I did not.
Regardless, it gives her 30 seconds to calm down. Calm down, Lady Trample.
Things I'm pretty sure that have never been said in Derby before.
Calm down, Lady Trample.
Yes.
Lady Trample now standing in the box. And re-entering gameplay. Lots of bodies down there, lots of punches, elbows. Lots of elbows being thrown. Lady Trample through, but there's the high block.
Yeah, the physicality and the extended
Intensity.
forearms and the jostling back and forth.
And being tall lends yourself to high blocks.
Absolutely. We also have Leah heading to the box on another penalty.
So this next jam, Denver's in, I'm not going to say a little bit of trouble because sitting at 203 to 87, they're not really in any trouble. But they are giving a power start to Angel City, and they are also down their pivot, which I guess if you're going to have two people out, since a pivot and a jammer work together, it might as well be the pivot and the jammer.
I am an eternal optimist. I like to think that when you have your jammer and your pivot in the box, they have time to
strategize,
talk through it and strategize and rest their feet and their skates for 30 seconds.
I
and then
like your optimism, Heads.
That's how I roll.
So Darby Dagger looking for that lead jammer. Big hit to the inside. Darby Dagger is taking the recycle, trying to not get that cut track. Again, getting knocked to the inside and recycled. So Denver doing, again, exactly what they need to do in holding Darby until Lady Trample can re-enter the track, which she does with authority. So Leah coming in right behind Darby Dagger to sort of prop up that Denver defense. Lady Trample through with a huge smile on her face. Darby Dagger lead picking up 4 points on this jam. Lady Trample through and picking up 4 points on this jam.
Yeah, Darby taking the opportunity to just trade points, get through it, run down the clock.
Oh, that is Leah and Akers. That's what I thought it was, causing so much trouble for Darby Dagger, running her back to the back of the pack there. Darby Dagger looking a little tired. I would be too.
I have to hand it to anyone who is lead, who's a lead
goodness.
jammer and coming up against a wall of Akers Blackman. This is why I don't skate. I would have ran the other way, calling it.
Yeah, and I think it was Barrett. I think Barrett was
Yep.
the third one in there. Yeah, it actually might be one of my worst nightmares to try and jam against any of these world-class teams. I was never one to voluntarily put that star on my head. I might have done it under pain of death, but that's what jamming felt like to me. So props to all jammers for doing what you do.
We actually had a little bit of a giggle moment yesterday during we had two teams come in and have a scrimmage with us, and jammer goes to hand the star to the pivot. Pivot yells no and runs away. And I was like, that would be me as a pivot right there. Klein coming in, quickly picking up 4 points on that pass.
Psycho taking a seat in that penalty box at the end of that jam gives us an opportunity to say thank you to Portland Vital Signs and Sisu Mouth Guards. Oh, another really interesting thing is you can be a VIP at Champs. Roll into WFTDA Champs in Montreal, Canada, November 15th through the 17th in style with the 3-day VIP ticket for $150. Make sure you're part of the hashtag Champs3000 and get your tickets today at WFTDA.com/tickets.
If you're going to go to Champs, that's the way to go. Go VIP.
Oh, certainly.
Scald Eagle through the pack.
Took her 15 seconds. I think she's slowing down.
We got an entire sentence out. Yay! Rachel Rotten, hot on Scald Eagle's tail.
Scald Eagle picking up a couple points before calling that off.
And Rachel has been rock solid on that this weekend. Just the quick around the track.
Yeah, forcing call-offs from the other teams. I'd like to say thank you to Vacasa and the PDX Pipeline.
we have a team time out.
That'll be a Denver timeout. Which also lets us say thank you to 187 Killer Pads and S1 Helmets.
So wrapping up the weekend, we had B teams here from Angel City, of course, Rose and Denver. They all had amazing games, very, very fun to watch. And then in terms of our each team's A team, on Friday we had Rose versus Denver, score of 193 to 127, which, like I said, is very, very, very close to the Big O score. I think it was 1 point difference on
one side
and 2 on the other. Yeah. I think it was like 195 to 128 or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but very close to that. And then Saturday, Rose versus Angel City, and that was a 283-68. So Rose coming out of the weekend 2-0. Denver looking like they will be 1-1, and Angel City, if this score and trend continues in the next 11 minutes and 24
we'll pick
seconds.
up third place in this tournament.
Yeah, I like that. They will pick up third. Hey, that's still a medal in any sport.
I would be proud to pick up third.
Tui Lion heading to the box.
Wilhelm picking up lead jammer at the exact same time. Star pass on Angel City. And the call off.
Yeah.
That would be to Crackerjack on Angel City, picking up jammer, the star there at the end of that jam.
Yeah, so Angel City would wrap up the weekend 0-2, but we talked about newer players on the team and building that cohesiveness, and this is the level of play that you need to come into to build that. You can play teams that are ranked way below you, but you are not going to get any better
unless you're playing these higher ranked teams.
Exactly.
Lady Trample and Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms down on the track. Garten re-entering gameplay.
And we have a back block sending a Denver blocker to the box.
And it looks like a multiplayer block, possibly sending another Denver blocker to the box. Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms will be our lead jammer this jam.
Now, Wanna T is actually heading to the box on a multiplayer.
Pack starts running. Garten and Akers holding Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms there at the top of the front of the pack. Long enough for that box to get cleared. Lady Trample putting the star back on her helmet. Trample spinning left and right, trying to find a way through all 4 Angel City blockers. Trying to get her shoulder into that tripod, looking for some help from Blackman.
And just when Lady Trample thinks she gets through one person, another one pops up.
Well, and Blackman has to drop the bridge, can't offer any more offense.
At some point, you start questioning how many blockers are really out there. Like, I'm pretty sure I passed 12 already.
I always think that they multiply in my head. Occasionally, I think that there's like a 5th blocker that has joined the fray. Don't know if anybody else's eyes play tricks on them like that. So we do have some conversation happening down here between a skater and a ref.
Yeah, Tui Lion asking the OPRs, just be aware, we have seen as this game progresses, the forearms just right on the brink. I would actually say everything's being called definitely within reason. But, you get that, like, just
some
on
nudging.
the brink.
Right.
And you do have that with higher level teams, right? Knowing, like, just where to go without getting a penalty. Leah heading to the box, however, with a penalty, and that is an illegal contact.
So
call.
that puts 3 Denver folks over there in that Bud Light penalty box. Little run back on Pearl Jam. Angel City able to limit that run back to just a few feet. Lady Trample looking for that outside, claiming that outside. Angel City reforms at the front, but not quite enough to stop Lady Trample. I mean, really, what is enough to stop Lady Trample? Her name is Lady Trample.
It's the 8 other blockers on the track we were talking about.
The 8, yes.
Jam. We're just under 7 minutes in this game. 228, 109, 119. 119 points separating these teams.
Did you just do that quick math?
Yeah.
I'm seriously impressed. I was doing it on my calculator as you were doing it in that big brain of yours.
Why, thank you.
Oh, we have a timeout. Denver. Why not use your timeouts? Everybody's taking a minute to talk.
Yeah.
The refs are having a little huddle. Denver's having a huddle. Angel City's relaxing.
I do have to say, this point in the tournament, it's just like, okay, we're going to finish this game. We're going to finish this game strong, and then we're going to go to the after party, and we're all going to hang out and have a good time. So
after party or the airport, or maybe the after party's at the airport.
it could be.
I mean, I know that one of the reasons that we did have such an early start competing with ECDX is that these skaters do want to get on the roads back to their respective homes earlier rather than later.
And we do have the top-rated airport in the country.
Our airport rocks.
It really does.
Portland International Airport, super awesome airport. We've got a movie theater, multiple brew pubs.
The movie theater. I love the short films. Like, I actually go to the airport early because A, I'm worried about missing a flight.
Always.
But B, you can watch short films by local filmmakers, and it's great.
Yeah, in a perfectly wonderful little theater. Looks like we do have an official review happening down on the track. So with about 6.5 minutes left in gameplay, Denver sitting at 228 points again to that Scarlet's 109. That's 119 points, separating the two teams that Head was so quick to tell us about. Yeah, I think the game is going mostly how I thought it was going to go. I don't think that there's been a lot of surprises or upsets. It's just been a good game.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch. These teams have mad respect for each other, and just watching them out there, giving everything. And of course, we know that in any game, everyone's going to give their all. But there's no feeling of anxiety,
right,
or that kind of chippiness that happens sometimes when things are on the line. Just solid, high-level derby. And we have enjoyed watching it, as we've enjoyed watching all the games this weekend. And we thank you for watching with us on Twitch. We know that there's a lot of derby this weekend as we are rounding out the end of the month. We find out who goes where. Basically, all of that seeding is done.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the last weekend of big derby where we're trying to figure out who's going to go where and all that good stuff. So we thank all the wonderful folks at the WFTDA for getting that stats page up. It is beautiful, and I have to say, I geeked out for hours when that launched. Just as someone who has been a longtime Derby fan, being able to see that and go back and see the closest games and all that good stuff has been amazing. So down to the track for MC Ninja, our head ref, to let us know what that review is about.
Denver is requesting the overturn legal contact on blue 1-9.
Okay, so no decision has been made yet. Only what Denver is asking for, which is for that illegal contact to be taken off of Leah Davidson.
Yeah, so we did see Davidson came in with 2 penalties in the first half, but has picked up several penalties here in the second half. So it's one of those things that It may not be hugely game impacting at the moment. You may think, why? It's 6:37 and you want to contact for somebody who's already standing in the box and serve 20 seconds. But what that comes down to is if you get that penalty removed now, that's one more penalty
that you can
she
create
has to spare,
in
right?
6.5 minutes.
Right, and we talk about those things, those worth it penalties, right? And you
Right.
skated those like, am I going to hold someone back and get that out of play block? And hold them as far as I can and push that limit and maybe take that penalty if it means my jammer gets 4 more points, right? So it's just an extra penalty to give if you can get that removed. I know sometimes it's like they're already there, they're already standing, maybe they have 2 seconds left on the clock, but getting that removed is huge.
Oh, I thought we were going to take it back down onto the track for a second.
Ninja letting the coaches know. I do speculate, however, and we can say this because, they can't hear us in the venue, but you folks on Twitch can. With Davidson, of course, still standing there, it does not look like Denver will retain their review, but let's have that confirmation from
Upon
Ninja.
review, it was determined that Blue 19 was the initiator of the contact. No call stands.
There we go. So it looks like Leah was the initiator of the illegal contact. So the penalty stands, and Denver will lose their official review.
You say it was a good review to call.
So Klein and Darby Dagger both jammers, well, they were at the same point in the pack, but Darby Dagger now getting out ahead, pulling out lead jammer status. Klein being recycled back. That star is in her hand. Looking to pass to her pivot. Angel City trying their darndest to make sure that doesn't happen, although it does look like we do have a completed pass to Leah. Although Leah has not put the star on yet. And how can you when you're facing that in front of you?
All energy focused on that very, very tough 3-wall.
Leah now through, putting that star on. Darby Dagger being held there at turn 3. That was Garton and Blackman.
Big hit, Leah staying in bounds. That hit from Whiskey Von Sweets.
Darby Dagger continuing around, picking up another 4. Nice little jump by Leah Davidson, picking up 4 more points for Denver.
As this jam winds down, see both teams ending on a 12-point run. So still 119 points separating the teams. 240, 121, 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this matchup. Scald Eagle and Pearl Jam lined up.
Scald Eagle making a beautiful spinny turn at the top of the apex there, getting out, picking up lead jammer. Scarlets with a star stash. Scald Eagle looking for the call off. Waiting till the last moment, and there it is.
And that's just great time clock management
Yeah.
on behalf of the Denver coaches.
Eagle dancing off the track.
Angel City's going to take a timeout, regroup, figure out how to finish out the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
3.5 minutes.
You know, I often joke now that we've gotten rid of the jammer lap point that we should institute style points. So just one, right? So that 5th point would be like if you do an amazing apex jump, and then it's 5, and like you could have like a panel of judges.
Oh,
right.
I like it.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one who has these really weird conversations with their derby buddies as to like, what?
How can we bring that 5th point back? Well, it's actually one of the questions I was going to ask you that I've asked the other announcers during this weekend is, how do you feel about the loss of the jammer point?
I actually understand from both sides. You know, from the perspective of an official, right? It's very clear cut. You don't lose any. It really defines things that were a little murky, right?
Sure.
Or sometimes weren't called correctly. So that's helpful. It, to me, kind of keeps necessarily big runs from happening, right? But then I missed the 5th point. You know, I'm used to the 5th point. But I think it's also from a fan perspective, the person who's coming to Derby the first time, it's a lot easier to explain.
To understand and explain.
Than like, no, yeah, they were a point last time, but not this time.
But not this time because of this thing. So Wilhelm and Bonnie Nicole Thunderstorms wearing the Stars of Jam. Wilhelm already getting lead jammer now on her scoring pass. Picking up a forearm on Akers. I feel like, especially in the last game, and maybe this one, we don't have a penalty tracker in front of us, but forearms seem to be the penalty du jour.
We've seen that throughout the weekend, and it goes back and forth, right?
Wilhelm struggling mightily against those 3 Angel City blockers. That's Chewy Lion and Rachel Rotten. Not necessarily the tripod I'd want to come up against under any circumstances.
Denver timeout. Yeah, sorry, I was mid-thought, and then the Denver coach, I was just enthralled by the Denver coaches who were like, screaming, yelling. I'm like, they're not talking to me, but now I'm going to stare at them.
But now I'm paying attention to them.
Attention.
Well, if you haven't noticed, one of the Denver bench coaches is wearing a very, very sparkly, eye-catching top.
That might be the reason.
The Raven in me is like, ooh, sparklies.
But yeah, we have we have seen a lot of 4-round penalties this weekend, and a lot of that comes from what we're seeing on the track, right? So we saw earlier over here in the corner, Tui Lion asking the OPRs to watch for forearms. So sometimes you get the folks who are like, oh, you know, team ref forearm, and sometimes it really comes from the skaters who have brought it up. So having sat in a couple of the crew meetings this weekend as an official, that was a concern, like, hey, can you please watch those forearms? And we're seeing consistently why.
So Denver has lengthened that distance between the two teams to 130 points. Scald Eagle and Pearl Jam jamming this jam. Pearl Jam finding a wide open inside unprotected lane and picking up lead jammer. That's definitely not going to help Denver advance that to that 170 points. Oh, and Pearl Jam headed to the penalty box. Scald Eagle now on a back block. Scald Eagle now in a power jam. And with our lead jammer headed to that penalty box, this jam will run the full 2 minutes. Oh, forearm being called on Scald Eagle. We will now do the jammer swap. With excuse me, with Pearl Jam coming back onto the track.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of difference in the jam clock. We know this will be a 2-minute jam. A minute left on the jam, a minute and 14 seconds left in the game. So there will be 14 seconds remaining, whether or not Angel City chooses to use a timeout is to be seen. Maybe want to put a few extra points on the board, but we can only speculate. We have a little bit of crawl shuffle from Scald. I believe potentially the skate got caught up on someone.
The crawl shuffle's great.
Like
it's a great way to
right?
make it through. And then following up the crawl shuffle with a gigantic hit through the middle. Soledad looking very confused on why a penalty's not being called then.
Yeah.
Ooh, Big Juke manages to stay on her skates and inbounds, which is pretty amazing considering how much lateral velocity she had coming out of that juke. Picking up another 4. So almost a null jam, 16 points, but now 20 points for Denver and 16 for the Scarlets. There's another timeout being called.
As expected, Angel City taking that timeout with 2 seconds left in the period. So we will have one final jam. Might as well, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Get as many points as possible. And I always love it because it extends the weekend and we get to see more derby.
So we have a wonderful DJ spinning the tunes over here at the hangar at Oaks Park, DJ Meow. And some of the music that he plays, like if I'm running broadcast, so there's Yaya singing. But I always want to sing along. But since I'm on live broadcast, I think I will refrain from doing that to our Twitch people.
Try standing in the center of the track. It is so
Oh, when you have to be team no fun, keep that glower on your face.
I'll let you in a secret. Sometimes I like to look over at my other penalty tracker or the other person in the middle with me and just like speak the words, right? Speak the lyrics, just because it's how I am able to like not bust out singing. Derby is fun. I mean, it's a fantastic sport, but derby is fun.
I really don't think you want me to do that, Dreadhawk. So there's our whistle. So we are out of period time. We are into jam time. So depending on who ends up getting our lead jammer, we'll probably decide whether this will be a short jam or a long jam. Scald Eagle and Darby Dagger down there again, fighting it out.
Darby out.
Although, when did Eagle go to the penalty box?
Probably while we were talking about song lyrics. We have failed you all as announcers. But in all fairness, Journey's playing, so...
Journey is playing.
Scald doesn't often get penalties. We weren't expecting it.
Someone born to sing the blues.
All right, Darby looking back to her bench. They're telling her to run it. Both teams at this point might as well. I've got a minute left on the clock. Score all the points.
Down the boulevard of shadows, searching in the night.
All right. Both teams now have just decided, hey, we're going to stay nice and tight as a pack.
And just stop both jammers.
Stop both.
So we have 37 seconds, 35 seconds on that jam clock. Eagle getting recycled. Tui Lion. Or just kidding, Rachel Rotten being sent to the penalty box there on a end of game penalty.
Darby calling. And we will...
There it is. There is our unofficial score. Denver 274, Scarlets 145.
129 points?
That is correct.
129 points?
129 points. Oh, we just had a change there, though. I'm not going to recalculate it. It is not 170 points needed for Denver to move up in the rankings to number 4. So it looks like arch rival for right now is going to be sitting in that 4th spot by. Denver's going to have to fight for it.
Yeah, we will, of course, find out who's going where and when in a few weeks when WFTDA releases that information. But if you are going off of live rankings, and all that good stuff. We are looking, as you said, Denver in 5th, and it looks like Scarlet's staying right around 7. Hard fuck. This was an amazing weekend.
It really was.
And it was finally, for the first time in years, not 100 and something degrees. Everyone's like, why is the hometown throwdown schedule always so weird? And why do you have a game starting at like 7 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night on Friday and Saturday, and then like first thing at 10 and noon on Sunday? It's because it gets hot. For some reason, this weekend is always like the hottest in history every year. Like, we were breaking records in terms of how hot it is in Portland.
Last year was like 120 degrees in the hangar.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was like Beekram Derby. It was amazing. But it was nice. It's been in the 70s and been phenomenal. And we thank all of the teams who came out. We thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. And we will see you. Let's do it again next year. Hometown Throwdown 2020.
I'll be here.
All right, me too.
Thanks so much.
Thank y'all.